The next step in designing my project is determining the procedure that I'm going to follow as I complete my experiment. Now, as my teacher has said to us, this is like a recipe. I need it to be specific and clear and follow step-by-step directions so that if I were to give my procedure to somebody else, they would be able to do the same experiment that I am without any problems just by following my procedure. So it needs to be specific. Sometimes it may seem that it's repetitive, especially since you're doing multiple trials. So I'm going to think here and work out how I want to go about conducting my experiments in a way that is precise and easy to follow. So I'm going to number these as I go as my steps, just like, kind of like you would in any kind of direction. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have students sit in their desks. Have students seated. That's my first step. If they're not sitting, we can't start. So have students seated in their desks. Period. Step 2. Remember, this is my first trial, so I'm not giving a brain break, so I'm going to start right away with timing how long they can maintain their focus. Now they've just come into the classroom, they've just taken their seats, so I'm going to start the timer. And begin lesson. Now the type of lesson that I'm going to teach is also going to have to be very similar, because if I am teaching a lesson where the students are more actively engaged in the lesson because they are turning and talking to their partners, or they are writing things on their whiteboards, or they are interacting with the smart board, those are all going to create different types of reactions and focus for the student. So I need to think about a lesson that is going to be the same. Obviously, when I'm doing 3 trials, I'm not going to teach the exact same lesson 3 times to my students. So it's going to be a bit tricky. What I could do to alter my project slightly is I could compare by the class. So I'm still doing students, but it's just tricky. You don't want to change too much, but how am I going to teach the same lesson to 3 different classes, right? So I'm going to, how am I going to teach the same lesson to the class 3 times exactly the same? So that's something that I'm going to need to think about too. So I'm going to choose a lesson of reading and annotating our note pages, because that's something that we do with every lesson. And so right away I know that it's going to take me a while to do my experiments, because I'm not going to do note page after note page after note page 3 days in a row. So I can't wait till the last minute, so I'm going to need to think ahead. Okay, so start timer and begin lesson. Number 3. Time, how long we're going to say at least, time how long, we'll give 5 the benefit, right? How long 20 of the 25 students stay focused on the lesson. The reason that I'm saying how long 20 of the 25 students stay focused on the lesson is because I feel like that is, that's 4/5 of the students. And I feel like that's a solid number, because if we just make it on one student, it could, can I really expect all students to maintain to maintain focus for the same amount of time? No. So we're going to do at least 4/5 of the students. I feel like that would give me plenty of data and an overall idea of how it's most beneficial for the majority of the students in the class. Okay, and then I'm going to record focus time on chart. Now, this is not the EDD chart that I started. This is my observation chart. So I'm going to record focus time, or length of focus time, on the chart under trial 1. Okay. Step 5, I'm going to have students seated in their desks. And begin lesson. Step 6. After 20 minutes, give students a structured brain break for 2 minutes. Number 7. Have students seated and continue lesson. Step 8. Time how long students can stay focused on the lesson. Step number 9, record focus time on chart. Under trial 2. Okay, so I'm going off the page here. Now, I write very large, and so do some of my students. So if I get to the point where I'm all the way at the bottom of my page and I still have steps that I need to do for my procedure, I'm going to get a piece of notebook paper and I'm going to continue writing my procedure there. Now, this gives you the idea of how to go about writing your procedure. Obviously, I still have more to do. What I can do in this case is say, for step 10, repeat steps let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 5, 6, 7, 8. Repeat steps 5 through 8 using a 5-minute brain break. And then step 11, record results. Record focus time on chart under trial 3. As you continue to write your procedure, you may start to realize like, whoa, what am I getting myself into? You start thinking more about different things that could happen. Now, as you may have noticed, when I'm going through here, number 8 says time how long students can stay focused on the lesson. Well, a key part that I forgot in that step is the 20 of 25 students. So if I gave this to somebody else to follow, what they might do on step 8 is to start timing the students and observing their focus. And then the moment that one student lost focus, they may stop the timer. So to keep it consistent of what we want to do, we need to make sure that all of our steps make sense. Time how long 20 of the 25 students can stay focused on the lesson. Okay, so when your steps repeat, you can make a step that says repeat these steps. You just have to make sure that it's clear. So then when you're done writing your procedure, you want to go back, you want to reread it, maybe reread it to somebody else so that they could tell you if there's a clear picture about what's expected and what you're going to do during your procedure. And then I'm going to take this to my teacher and have her read it over and decide if I have written a good procedure. Again, these are numbered steps that are detailed, explaining exactly how I'm going to do my experiment.